doing a little bit of preventative maintenance on the round baler here today. Some of the belt splices are getting bad, so what I'm going to do is take all of the belts out and take it to the dealer and have them cut all the bad splices out, get all the belts the same length and the correct length if they can, and put new splices back in them, and then we'll put the belts all back in. My plan is hopefully we can tie a twine string onto the belt, pull it through with that, and then when we get done, tie the string together. And then that way, when we go to putting the belts back in, you just tie them back to the twine back to the belt, and then just pull it all back through so that it's routed all the rollers the same way as it was, because that can be confusing on round balers is unless there's a good diagram, and we do have a book for it, but I don't currently have that with me. So Dad's looking for it right now, but and that may have a good diagram, I'm not sure, but it definitely would be easier if you can just pull it back through with the twine string. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but we'll sure give it a try. We got the tension release from the belts here, which on this baler is there's this little rod here, you open the gate up and you pull it out, turn it, and it moves that pin down out so that when the tension arm comes down, it doesn't keep applying tension to your belts as the gate's all the way closed. So sorry we didn't get that on film for you guys to see, but yeah, so we'll get started on this project here. Take this out. It's a rod that holds all them holders to keep the belts in line, which one of them is broken anyway, so you know, I wouldn't say in the grand scheme of things as compared to most guys that we bale a lot of hay, but yet when the baler needs to go, it needs to go, because a lot of days I make about 100 bales, you know, 80 to 100 bales, and you know, I've got my 1 or 2 days a week to do it, and it needs to work when it's working. So now this is definitely bent too. Oh,
well, this end is like it's bending downwards. I can see that.
yeah, I'm trying to get it.
It's moving. It's just moving slow, short distances.
Too bad I couldn't get that bent back straight before, so I'd pull out easier. You can't do it with this. Oofta. These are about cut off. Okay, we'll see if this works. How hard these pull through, I don't know. Harder than that. Maybe we will have to go up top. Stand. Here's my fitting, I think, that broke. finally got parts to pull through. Can you pull on that, Robin?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, so what we will do is tie these two strings together and move on to the next one. Yeah, to all those of you who have not been around round balers, so a lot of you, this is probably pretty common, but that is how long one of these belts is I don't know the measurement, but if you've just followed one down the road, or maybe you run one a little bit but have never worked on one, it's a pretty long belt there.
Yeah.
Them are not at all close to us. So, can you sit on this? See, this one's torn here, and it probably isn't going to be too many more bales before it decides to give up. And that's not a good thing when you got a bunch of hay to bale in front of you. So I've probably run them longer than I should like this, but there was always some that had, you know, like an edge feathered a little bit or something, you know, but not quite to this extent yet. So, but the baler's got about 9,700 bales on it, and we've never put splices or belts on it before, so I'd say we did pretty good. Some guys would probably just cut the belt and not worry about getting this pin out, but I'll leave that for the implement to decide, maybe. There we go. Now, and also them have been in there for the 9,700 bales as well. I know it's recommended to replace them about every so often, depends on who you ask, but then I've always heard that once they've been in there for so long, you're probably not going to get them out anyway, but I guess I'm proving that to not really be true, so let's hope it stays that way. I guess I shouldn't jinx myself, but we had an old John Deere baler years ago, and the belts were shot in that when I bought it. This baler my dad and uncles bought brand new, so I know the story behind this baler, but that John Deere we had, that I bought belts for it once, and I had the old one spliced a couple times, and so, but it's not. So I'm a little bit versed in how to do these, but John Deere has their own splice, of course, and these are what they call a clipper lace splice. But yeah, in case I didn't answer it earlier, the reason why I'm doing all of these belts is so like this here, when it's tore like that and the splice is tore loose, you're gonna lose a couple inches by the time they skiv the belt down and everything like that. So then if we were to just replace the splice in this belt, then this belt is going to be shorter than the rest of them. So then when you're baling, this belt will always have more pressure on it than the rest of them. And it seems like once you break one splice in a belt and you don't make sure it's the same length as the rest, it's just going to keep breaking on you all the time. So that's why we're just going to do all of them. I mean, you know, cost of a new baler is $75,000, and that's just not in our budget, so we got to try and make this one last as long as we can. So. String is tied to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, can you pull that one out? Keep going.
Okay.
Probably pull it out a little more. Oh, that's the other belt. All right, keep pulling.
It's like bent over on itself. There we go. When I wonder why my upper body is sore tomorrow, I'll know, I guess.
some of this old loose hay pulled out of here.
It's amazing how much of it's behind all the belts.
Yeah.
Smells good, at least.
All right, that looks much better.